Okay. Making sure everything's configured. Okay. Making sure it's clicking around here doing stuff. All right, and I have to adjust the chat real quick. There we go. And then, real quickly, let's see. Let's see what that does. All right. So as people start dropping in here, oh, well, I'll get this figured out real quick. I have to share this link out. Dun, dun, dun. I cannot wait until my new laptop shows up because this one is so slow. No, 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 stop it. I once told this computer, I wish you could be slower, and I think it took the challenge. Hey, Bear. Hey, Aaron. Hello, guys. I'm going to get this started here in just a second. Let me go ahead and share this out here. And pull the laptop a little closer here. All right, let me post that in where Nerdy is Cool. I'll post it on my personal page real quick. No, this poor laptop is just dogging out on me. Come on. All right. We're almost there, guys. I just got to get this posted out here. Laggy, laggy, laggy. All right, and I have one more link to blast out. Hello, Minnesota Maker. I'm getting better with the Streamlabs OBS. That has definitely been a huge gain as far as performance on this particular laptop, this i5. I have an i7 on the way from Lenovo, and I love Lenovo's offerings. And let's do this. There we go. All right, so I posted on my personal Facebook. I posted on Where Is Cool, and I'm also blasting this out on the FolgerTech one. Why not? See if we can't get some people in here to check it out. And then what I'm going to do is I am going to close out of all my Chrome stuff on this laptop because Chrome just kills the performance. But what I will do, I have a second laptop. I got it off the desk now because, as you guys will see in a moment here, this printer is so freaking huge. I have run out of desk space, so I had to clear off a spot here. And real quickly, I just want to make sure I don't miss anything in the chat. So what I like to do is have it going in both locations here. So what I will do, let's see. Yeah, this laptop is running way better than that one. And this printer is looking mighty fine, I gotta tell you. There. All right. So we got 4 viewers. That's pretty cool. Okay, so I've got my, this is decaf. I love my coffee, but it's also 8:30 at night, so I need to switch over to the decaf. I know, decaf is like drinking near beer. What's the difference? But I like it. All right. So to those of you who are new, hello, my name is Paul. This is my channel where nerdy is cool. And what I have here is a FolgerTech FT-i3 Mega 3D printer. And over the last couple of nights, we've been slowly chipping away at it. It is essentially space-wise, size-wise, design-wise, the same as a Prusa i3, which is, if you were into 3D printing, it's basically what you see in the TiVo Tornado, the CR10, the CR20, the G-Tech, you know, A10. I mean, it's basically that style printer. The Y-axis slides back and forth. So we have the Y moving, and then the X goes across the gantry, what have you. So it's not like my FT5 or my Ultimaker where it's all enclosed. So there is that. So hello, good evening, welcome. I am up here in the frigid north of Maine. We're expecting between 6 to 10 inches of snow to start sometime tonight. So I don't know if I'm going to be working tomorrow or not, but if not, I'll be working on this some more. Trolling for dollars, hello. As I mentioned before in the previous feeds, I try to keep these live streams to about 2 hours. This way, if anyone else is following in my footsteps building one of these things, they're not going through a 5-hour scroll of each section. I try to, when I post the live stream up, I try to identify what sections we covered in the build. So that should make it a little bit easier. Bear, where are you in Canada? Yeah, frigid up north. Oh, yeah, 45 degrees. Oh, boy. Well, if we were looking for someone to diss on, I think someone just volunteered. So let me show you what we have so far. Before as before, we have the usual 3 cameras. The one thing I've changed is I have put OBS on the big screen, which has its own chat window, so I can watch through there. So again, we have, I'll scroll through it real quick here. So this is the Canon, the T7i, this is the DSLR, this is the big screen. Over here we have the instructions of what we're doing, so I have that shared out. I also have a web camera here. It's also acting as the microphone, so if you guys could let me know, I know my voice is annoying and what have you, but if the voice, the sound quality isn't as good as it should be, or if it's a little from blaring you out of your headphones, let me know. I can turn down the gain a little bit. And then, of course, we also have the laptop view, which is the built-in camera on the laptop. So, and as I mentioned, every time, and usually it gets a few chuckles, you can see some white hazing above me because I have a very bright, I got it from Wayfair. These are really great shop lights, but they're very, very bright white lights. So if you wonder if the Almighty is partying in the heavens and calling me home, no, we're not ready for that. It's just a super bright light, and that seems to be how the camera is reviewing it. So there we go. And then, without further ado, let me get the printer on the table, and I can show you guys where we left off and how it all looks. Ta-da! So we have the beast, and I really can't even put it all the way on the table here because I'll probably kill that laptop. But as you can see, things are looking pretty good. There's a couple of things that a couple of you guys have mentioned as well as pointed out. There's a couple of things in the design of this printer that have me scratching my head a little bit, but that's fine. I mean, that's just the way that they designed it. A couple things is that we have the we have the Z motors up top here, and we have the couplers basically holding this entire gantry. There's nothing down here giving them any support. So essentially, all of that load is being taken by these little couplers. And if you have any experience with these kind of couplers, you know that sometimes they can get stretched out. And that's one of my early concerns in this design is what are these couplers going to look like after a couple weeks of use. The other thing that's interesting is this print head. This, you have the stepper motor, then you have this the extruder, then you have this giant heat sink, and the fan. I mean, this entire thing sticks out about 3.5, 4 inches, so it's a pretty large print head that's going to go, rocking back and forth. So I'm curious what kind of firmware settings will need to be, the jerk settings and acceleration to accommodate for such a large mass of a print head. And of course, my mind is already twirling about potential upgrades. Geez, if perhaps I could replace this with a Titan Aero, and then get one of their stepper motors, which are a lot slimmer. I might cut the size down in half, and of course I have a Titan Aero, and I've had really good luck with it on the FT-i3. The other thought too is, of course, just eliminating the stepper motor altogether, and just having like an E3D V6, and then have a 2020 mount here for the extruder, and then you'd have an extremely light print head. But I'm trying not to get ahead of myself thinking about too many upgrades. So the cats are going crazy. They've been sleeping all day, and the minute I came home, they've just been on fire. So we may have some entertainment joining us. Let me turn my phone volume off. There we go. Sorry about that. The pros have been, the instructions have been very good. There's been a few spots along the way where we've had to make a few tweaks. There was one thing we noticed about the belts when we went through that. The orientation wasn't quite correct. That's okay. This aluminum composite material, ACM they call it, overall it's been really, really good. The only grudge I have with this is that it's very sharp because it's it's cut aluminum. If I had a deburring tool or something like that, that might be a good idea to maybe take some of these sharp edges off, because I can tell you that my hands are pretty well carved up here. It looks like I've been arguing with the cats. I was thinking about taking some sandpaper to the edges, but because it's painted black, you wind up taking the paint off. So it's kind of a double-edged sword. So that said, and that's just a small thing to complain about. The instructions were a little bit out of order as far as, and some of you guys that were here the other night may recall that one of the processes was, once we got the build plate in here and once we got the Y motor installed, it went straight to electronics, leaving the printer resting on top of that Y motor bracket. And we decided to skip a few steps, and we went ahead and mounted the front and the side and the leg pieces just to get the printer off the ground. That was one of my concerns. And you guys are chatting away on me. Oh, you guys are talking about how far in the boonies you are. Yeah, we're... I'm not seeing any viewers who are from balmy Florida or, the tropics, what have you. It seems like we're all a bunch of guys that live definitely in the northern climates. So, without further ado, what I'm going to do is, from Phoenix to St. Paul, oh man. It's still south of me. Great. Well, the good news is it looks like the chat's working really well. The delay isn't as bad as it was the other night. It's not like I have a fiber internet connection here. I've got a 100 meg down, 15 meg up. So everything seems to be working okay. I tried to tweak the studio software to take advantage of the bandwidth as best we could. So if we get any lag or latency, I promise I'll wait up for you. So with that said, somewhere here I have a mouse that will allow me to change my screens here. We're going to go ahead and we're going to take a look at the instructions here real quick. Or as the pastor would say, turn your Bibles to page. And I want to say that we were pretty far down here. I want to say we were down in the 22 or so. Okay. And this is another thing too. We had gone through and between me being distracted by some of the chat or some of the things that I was focusing on, there was a few things I hadn't paid attention to, like securing the set screws for the chrome rods on the Z-axis and some other things. So we got this. We did do this. Okay, and this was all the stuff that we did a couple nights ago. This is our gantry. This was all the fun with dealing with the belts. Okay, yeah, and that's, okay, so this is exactly where we left off right here. So we went straight from placing the belts to wiring. At least the bed anyway. All right, so let's do this. Let's get this big giant printer off the desk for a moment. And seems like every time I put that printer on the desk, more stuff, kind of the blowout from the CNC holes and cuts, a little bit left over there. And what I'll do, this camera is a little bit on the crooked side, so real quick, let's adjust you. Cape Cod's a nice area. All right. The other thing, and I'm sure he'll be on here shortly, is remember one of the things that I kept on doing is, this isn't related to 3D printing, it's just picking on me, which we should all be in favor of. I keep using the euphemism, all right. And I am trying very hard not to do that. Trolling for dollars. Is that a compliment? Sweet. Thank you very much. Appreciate the feedback. I have noticed, I look at the statistics on my YouTube channel usually a couple times a day just to kind of see where I'm at. And, you know, for a little channel like mine, I want to say I'm averaging about 500 some odd views per day, which, hey, that's awesome. You know, for a channel that really just kind of started up, you know, just over a year ago, that's cool. But I noticed over the last couple of nights with the live streams that we've definitely popped over 700. I think one night we had over 1,100 views. So that's cool. People are finding me. They're catching my videos. I'm getting a lot of feedback on those videos. So that's great. All right. We have here, this is his little sticky mat here. The imitation build tack or what have you. Folger Technologies, and then there's a magic marker where they apparently rubbed something out. So I don't know what was there, but it's gone now. And well, look at this. This appears to already be soldered for us. That's kind of cool. Well, I'm all in favor of that. And then we have that little spot here. And I am willing to bet that's going to be our thermoresistor. And under the bubble wrap is the mouse I'm looking for. Okay, let me do this. And secure the bed thermoresistor to the center of the bottom of the bed with the included capped-on tape. They gave me tape? That might be news to me. Let's take a look. Maybe it's included in the bundle of wiring, I hope. No. Theodore, get off the laptop. Okay, the cats have decided to join the party here, so this is going to be a good time. Yeah, the other thing too, just so you're aware, I'm not entirely sure how it works. YouTube was like, hey, you now have Super Chat. Okay, so it's Super Chat has been enabled for you if you guys wish to use it. So feel free. I guess it's one of YouTube's ways to say, hey, you know, give this guy some money. But I think YouTube gets a pretty good cut of it too. So now the bed thermoresistor, I'm going to guess that's this guy here because the one on the hot end is already installed. So I think with the use of deduction, we figured it out. Okay, there's my MKS board. And yeah, we're aware of that. So this is, holy crap, the camera actually focused the first time. It's going to be a good night, guys. Look Looking at the instructions one more time. Secure the bed thermostats to the center at the bottom of the bed with captain tape. Solder the black wires of the heater part as shown. Then tape the thermistor wires down. Okay, well, they're already soldered, so that's really sweet. So now, all we have to do is go ahead and find in this giant bag of stuff, hee-haw. Okay, we have, and I'll be honest with you guys, wiring a 3D printer is my least favorite thing. I am not seeing any kind of captain tape in here whatsoever. So, and the only thing I can think of is I have to go raid my FT-i3 leftovers and see if I have any there, because it looks like that's another item I am missing in my kit, because this one was an early prototype. Well, that's a little disappointing, because usually they are really good about making sure you have everything. I'm not going to put that bag too far away. And I'm not sure about these build tax surfaces. I've had really good luck. I've been using the polypropylene beds that Tiny Machine sells. I have them on the TiVo, CR10, and the CR10S. And I bought one for the FT-i3 as well too, and I've been really happy with those. I'm going to check the box of stuff one more time. Okay, well, nothing there. Let me see if I have any of my stack of stuff. Oh, those are connectors. Dun, dun, dun. All right, so let me look at the other storage unit. Well, that would stink if that's the only thing holding me up, is having the right tape. I can certainly skip this step and we can come back to it, but, trolling, my first name is Paul. Hello and good evening. I know I have some. One of those things I don't use often, and I'm for sure I have it. Silicone wire. One. Da, da, da. I'm going to check one more place. And just checking the chat here real quick as I look around for this part. Interesting. Hey, John. I am at a loss as to where that container would be. I have too many storage drawers. Let's see. I know there was one more of those storage bins. Alright, if I was tapped on tape, where would I hide? Okay, so what we're going to do, dun, dun, dun. Too few storage drawers? Yeah, I got all kinds of stuff down here. Okay, so what I'm going to do, let's see, let's look at the next page here real quick. Okay, and they're talking about the bed assembly. We can certainly skip this, but you know what? I'm gonna check upstairs real quick. I know I have the stuff. Alright, good news, I found the case. The bad news is I'm pretty sure, sorry to leave you guys hanging here. This is all the leftovers from my FT5 kit. I'm a big proponent of these cases. You know, when you buy their printers, they basically put all the hardware into the individual bags, and then you have to sort them out. And I got tons of leftover hardware here, but it looks like the Captain tape I had for the other printer was just enough for that printer, so that kind of stinks. All right, let's put this back where this one belongs. And I don't know if I dare try to substitute that with any kind of different tape, you know what I mean? All right, so the directions here for this right here are just talking about the bed assembly. So it looks like we're going to have to skip that. And then what I'll do, I'll shoot them an email and say, hey, can you guys send me a squibble of Kapton tape that wasn't in the kit? Can you help a brother out? It's just really weird that that wasn't included. Okay, I got to hang on to this because those are going to be my limit switches for them to mount onto. I got a lot of leftover stuff here. All right, so now, I said all right again, I'm sorry. I said I wasn't going to say that anymore. Okay, well, it's getting toasty down here with that heater, so Don't mind the attire. It's I'm still in gym clothes mode from the gym today. Kind of a religious gym person here. Having dumped 37 pounds since February, I definitely want to keep that train going. Okay, so this is going to be, for a moment here, we are going to free up some space because this next step that I had on the screen here briefly, this is basically going to be the mount for the spool holder. And that looks pretty easy peasy to me. But we've had a couple of bumps along the way here, so you just never know. And let's get the printer back up on here. Try not to dump any beverages in the process. Now, this is shown from the rear, so that just means that this guy's going to go on like so. Cool. A little bit out of the camera view, but that's okay. This is a short step. I will say that so far, I am liking this aluminum composite material. And it seems to be running very, very low on these M5 screws. It looks like a kind of a shark fin, doesn't it? Yeah, something you'd expect to see out of Jaws. And like all the other, part of me wishes I put some Loctite on these before I go and torque these on, because if they come loose, that's not a whole lot of fun. It doesn't matter, I'm trying to find out which of these is the correct size here. Apologize for the lousy camera angle for a moment. And there we go. They turn and those are now on there. Let me get behind the cannon here and pan up a little bit. Sorry for the jiggly view for a moment here. Now this is a pretty rugged frame here, and I'll tell you that I for one, I'm not a fan of filaments being attached to the printer because if the printers are going to be jerking and doing motions, having something way up here, especially a 1 kilogram roll of filament or whatever, I'm not the most versed in physics, but I mean you're going to have a weight at the very top, you have something moving at the very bottom, so it seems to me you're going to induce some oscillation there. Someone who's more versed in physics can correct me or educate me, but that's just my observation. So, man, this thing's huge. Under here is a mouse I need to get back at. Let's go ahead and take a peek at the instructions. And let me zoom this out. Spool will hang from the center. Yeah, I would say that mission accomplished right there. Okay, and then here's another step that we did this the other night because we very much wanted to get the printer off the ground and on its feet. So we have done this step right here. And in our efforts to get the printer off the ground, we have also done this. So as you can tell, and I can also show you from the big camera, you can see that obviously that piece is indeed attached. And what I did is I tried to make sure that these pieces were they come flush with the 3030 rail. So with any luck, and I tried to be really good. I even have a mini level over here. According to the level, everything was flat, so we'll go by that. Next page. All right, now we're getting into the fun stuff here. We're getting into the world of, we're going to mount the electronics up, and then we're going to have to deal with M3 nylocks and all the really fun ergonomics of getting our hands behind there and mounting that board. And it looks like the reason they have us doing just one, let's look ahead here, let's be smart. Okay, because we have to get in here and we have to be able to mount the power supply in here too. Okay, so that's why they have us doing one screw first, because otherwise once that power supply goes in, we can't get behind there. Makes sense. Good instructions. I talked to Chris Soros yesterday about the instructions, and I said, hey, I just wanted to give you some kudos here. I know people are very quick to complain. I'm guilty of that too. I like to offer constructive criticism, but when I see excellence, I like to be that guy that says, hey, you guys did a really good job. So I definitely made sure he was aware that we've been doing this, and we are singing his praises. Oh, my goodness gracious, this thing is heavy. I picked a bad night to do arms. And let's get this other camera here kind of freed up. So first of all, let's not dump the laptop on the ground. So let's see if I can wiggle that around. Let's see what the external cameras can see. All right, it's actually doing all right. You know, it looks like this guy actually knows how to do a live stream. Nah, I'm winging it. We're 37 minutes into this, so I just wanted to say it looks like we have, what, 10, 11 viewers. So first of all, let me get my face up from behind here. Hello, my name is Paul, and this is my channel, Where Nerdy is Cool. If this is your first time visiting, hello, welcome aboard. I hope you decided to become a subscriber. I do stuff like this all the time. My channel is all about my hobbies. I'm huge into 3D printing. As you can see in the background, I got a couple printers. I've got a BB-8 frame over here. I'm working on BB-8. I built a full-size aluminum R2-D2. Actually, I built 2 of them. I sold off the second one. It was incomplete, and it was just taking up space. So I was very picky about where I sold that to, and that went to a computer club in Pittsburgh, and they just adore the thing. So if you're gonna adopt out your kid, that was the best case scenario in that case. I've also got a Stormtrooper suit. I've also got a Dark Knight bat suit. I mean, I just got a ton of interest. So this is what my channel is all about. So I just wanted to take a little brief segue to say hi. If you're not a subscriber, please consider becoming one. Outside of YouTube, I also have Where Nerdy is Cool on Facebook, and I also have on Instagram. And I try to, post stuff frequently on there just to let people know what I'm working on. I'm not one of the big channels. I'm not a 3D printing nerd like Joel. I'm not sponsored by, an organization. I'm just doing this because I have fun doing it. And every now and then, for example, I get a printer like this for close to nothing, and they say, hey, get it, build it, review it, let us know what you think. We'd like your feedback. Sweet. So there we go. The only thing I don't do, I'm not a Twitter fan. I never got into Twitter. I mean, I know they went from 80 characters to 140 or something, and I still, it's just not my thing. I have an account there, but I don't do anything with it. It's just one of those social media services that it never turned me on. I just don't have a use for it. So I pretty much keep it to Facebook and Instagram, and of course I have a website too, wherenerdyiscool.com. So there's my segue. We are building, this is a FolgerTech FT-i3 Mega. So if you're just tuning in and you're wondering what the hell are you trying to build, that's what it is. The other thing I wanted to do too, and I'm going to do it on the other computer, because a few people have asked, what the devil are you building? What I will do is I will provide you guys with a link. And I thought I had it bookmarked, but my computers just don't like to cooperate with me today. So this right here, let's get that cut and paste over. So right there, that's what we're building. $349. I hear you saying about Facebook. I try to limit myself. I try to Steer clear of the politics. I try to be one of those people that, how do I say this nicely? I try to be one of those guys that you like seeing my post. You're not going to get some political meme every day or whatever. I made myself a promise a couple years back. Anytime I'm tempted to post something political or controversial, I have to backspace and post a pet picture because people like those better than the political post. So as a result, over the years, I've become known for all of my cat pictures because I got 3 cats. So it seems like most of my friends know my cats better than they know me because I start cutting and pasting and I'm ready to hit post and I'm like, no, can't do that, can't do that. So that is the link right there. There was another link I wanted to share with you guys as well too, because if you're as big into 3D printing as I am, I would love to invite you guys to my 3D printing forum. It's a web forum, and there that is. So I've done all of my bottom of the hour plugs, so to speak, so that you guys are aware of my presences online and on social media. And if you enjoy 3D printing as much as I do, I think you'll enjoy the web forum. I've had that going for about 2 or 3 years, and there's been some really amazing posts from some really, really brilliant people. I'm not one of them. That forum started out as an outgrowth of Ultimaker's forum really sucking. So I started my own, and a lot of really great, smart people from that forum would hang out on mine. I kind of had the alternative place to hang out, I guess. And since then, you know, Ultimaker has changed their web form software to something that doesn't take 20 seconds to load every page. And it's been a good time. So if you're interested, I started it. I was encouraged by Anders Olsen. You may know him for the Olsen Ruby, the Ruby nozzle. Very smart man. Fun to get to know. So that is essentially my only rub with any kind of 3D printing famous people. Okay, I've run my mouth long enough about me and my social media. Let me go ahead and let's get back over here to the build. Okay, so they are saying mount the MKS board to the lower center hole on FM2 using the M3. Let's see. So I am just kind of looking. And the hole I see, let's go ahead and do this together here. So the hole I see they're talking about is this one right here. And that makes sense because that is the front left or here. Okay, I see what they're doing. And I'm trying to maneuver this here so you guys can too. So this is the hole he's talking about right here. So it looks like the way things are going to go in, that's going to sit here, that's going to sit here. But we have to install this one very loosely, lift this. Power supply is going to go into that hole and this hole. Put it back down and then attach. Make sense? Trolling for dollars, you may chat as much as you like. I enjoy it. I'm thrilled to have an audience. And actually, this has been a really cool first experience for me, too. Going through this, you guys were especially helpful during the belt install. I kept on looking at that, and I looked at the picture, and I just said, something's not right. And several of the people attending the live stream also said the same thing, saying, that doesn't look right, Paul. So I had support behind me. Okay, so we need to get an M320. And I need a spacer. And what's interesting about the instructions is they say it's an 8mm spacer, whereas before they didn't give me any measurements. Let me get my caliper just to make sure I am dealing with the right stuff. 7.99. I'm going to go with it. yeah, as you can see, my knuckle here, I got all clawed up here. Now, what's going to make this fun, and I use that term loosely, is getting a nylock in there from behind. I am awful glad the feet on this thing are fairly tall. Oh, the kit comes with everything. I'm sorry, John. I'm sorry, Jack. I got your name wrong. Sorry, I hate it when I get people's name wrong. The kit does come with everything, and then some. It's just that the hardware is put into large bags, which you then have to sort out. And I know I'm being whiny, saying how long it takes. I was spoiled. Let me get to my different camera here. My first kit was an Ultimaker original before I got my Ultimaker 2. And what was really cool about that is everything was individually bagged in small baggies. And it even had labels on there, you know, M3 by 20, M3 by 25. It was really great. So when you were going through the instructions, you just flipped through the bag and took whatever you needed. What they do is everything goes in a big giant bag. And you dump it out and you have to sort it all out. And that's when something like this comes in really handy. This is a nice, it's got holes in the top here for M3 and M5 size screws. You slide them in there, you know, you can find out exactly how tall they are, because my knowledge on the metric system is not as good as others. So that's kind of a long answer to what you were asking. Now, to make life a little bit easier, I want to grab a socket here. I'd like to see if I can make things a little easier on myself by having the... Oh. There's not a lot of 3D printer kits that are out there. Yeah, wouldn't you know? That's the one I'm missing. Yeah, I'm not a fan of going in there with pliers, but what size are you? 6. 5/16. Where'd that come from? Well, I may be missing that part. So the one thing we've learned about Paul's basement is Paul definitely seems to be missing a lot of his tools. With many printers and all these tool benches, it seems like I have stuff everywhere. Okay. Yes. Yes, you asked a good question. No, Matt, I have exactly 1,800 subscribers right now. Well, that's cool. Well, hopefully it goes up. On the forum software, what happens is that if I use the CAPTCHA, if it shows a certain image, it literally takes 24 hours before the spam box of the world to figure out what that is, because PHPBB is a free platform that anyone can download and install. So obviously the answer to that question is 3. I try to change it up every now and then because I try to make it easy so that people, when they go in, you know, they can just answer that question and then become a member of the forum. What happens if I make it more complicated, I get a tremendous amount of emails from, well, let me back up. That default email box probably gets 25 emails a day. And I try to check it every other day or so. So if someone has a problem subscribing, When I go into that mailbox, there's so much spam in there. Improve my golf swing, get a better mortgage, make my wee-wee bigger. I mean, it's just, there's so much crap in there that sometimes it's hard to find the real questions being asked. So I tried to make the registration question ridiculously easy, and I hope it didn't stump you. I thought I made it easy. All right. Damn it. I said I wasn't going to say that word anymore. You guys have got to keep me honest on that. So the fun part here is I had a set of little wrenches too at some point. I'm not gonna go down that rabbit hole. And I also had a smaller plier, which is right here. Oh my God, I found something I'm looking for the first time. Okay. And what I will do is, let's go back over here, and you guys can see as I struggle. So if anyone wants to know what I want for Christmas, clearly it's tools. Okay, and mount the bank is right around here. Okay, make sure you are reading the instruction one more time here. Oh, that's a good catch. So make sure that you're bolting through the hole next to the stepper drivers and the board rotates upward. Well, let me skip ahead in the directions one more time here. Let's make sure. So what's the finished result? Ah, okay. This is why we scroll ahead. I would have had it upside down. So, God, you know what? I keep on getting these sharp edges. So what we're going to do what did you say, Matt? I was a blonde in a past life? I'm sorry that I threw you off, Matt. I tried to make it easy for you and for me. Live and learn. It's okay. We all still love you. It's only a computer. And remember, to really screw up, you need a computer. Okay, so oh, this is in a really awkward position. Well, that's on there a little bit loose. I'm not sure this is desired, but see if I can without carving myself up anymore here. You know what will help? I'm sitting next to this great big tool, so I'm going to go ahead and lift you up in the air here. Let's see if that gives me the extra leverage I need. Oh, you really, really suck. Okay, that is on there good and tight. I'm going to remove that and keep that handy because that was kind of a nice little shortcut. Coolio. I'm going to turn off that here. But I think we're just right. So there we go. Another electronics board is on there. So let's, oops, I got stuff everywhere here. Now, one thing that I've been thinking about, and let me go back to my camera. This is a, I don't even know what brand power supply this is. Let's make sure it's set to 110. Yeah, it's set to 110. Okay, we obviously want fan down. And this is, I haven't had problems with my existing one, but hi, Molly. I'm certainly thinking that maybe if I was going to upgrade, perhaps a Percocet kicks in. Oh no, root canal. Holy crap. Alright, I'm being stalked by one of the cats here. Let's go ahead and look at the instructions here again. So we got, this was already achieved. We did that. Okay, so power supply is going to go under. And not sure how much I like that because that means we're going to have to tip the printer. Well, what options do you have? Okay, let me focus first. So we know that's going to go in that way. About this power supply, sorry, I started a train of thought and then I got derailed by myself. If I was going to upgrade this printer, we'll see how it works, obviously, but as I mentioned earlier in the video, I would certainly like to replace the print head with something else. I'm really curious how these couplers hold out because the couplers are essentially holding these Z-screws. There's no support from the bottom. So I'm really curious how those couplers are going to hold up over time, if they're going to get elongated or not. But this power supply, I would definitely like to talk to Tim at TH3D and get one of his power supplies, the Meanwells, and that would be a nice upgrade for this. So anyway, that is something we'll do in the future. But right now, let's go ahead and let's look at the instructions. And trolling for dollars, I'm terribly sorry to hear about your root canal. I hope you're feeling better. Okay, with the MKS board rotated up and out of the way, it currently is. Mount the PSU using two M4 by 10 millimeter. That would be these guys. And before we get too carried away, let's verify that those do indeed thread in there. There's an M3. I grabbed the wrong guys. Let's see, about 10, huh? That looks like you and you. You guys can go back in the fish tank. Okay, so we have those instructions going. So we have those M3s. And what I'm going to do is just going to make sure that, of course, I got the wrong Allen wrench. Need to get some of the, I need to find more of these that can do the hex heads. I only have one. I'd like to find a full set. I have not been able to locate any. So if any of you are good at treasure hunting on Amazon or what have you, let me know what you find. I am in need. So here we go again. We're going to try to maneuver this around, and we're going to make sure that we have, okay, we have the fan facing down. And I'm wondering what kind of gymnastics I'll have to do to get this in here. Okay, so it looks like it's attached by the dun, dun, dun. Well, aha, okay. It's not very fun to line this up. I'm going to move the printer, and then I'm going to drop the camera. Actually, let's do two things here. Let's give you guys the fun view here. Voltage has been checked. It is set to 110. Thank you for keeping me honest. Well, this is exciting. This is not a whole lot of fun to line up. I'm hitting all around it. See, the problem... Oh, can I put you on your side? I probably can. Okay. So what I'm encountering is that it seems like it's a, as I expected, it's a super snug fit from the bottom to this power supply. Okay, get you back over here, fan down. That's way easier to do it this way rather than tight gravity. It's just not... it's acting like it's... Oh, thank heavens, it's finally teething in there. What's happening is it's acting like the hole is like a millimeter under. And the only thing I can do would be to loosen these screws and try to lower this down a little bit more. Something I really don't want to do. Okay. And I was thinking, you know what? You read my mind. I was thinking if I had to, I'd duct tape this thing in place. That almost went in my coffee. That would have been really funny. Okay, I'm going to loosen you a half turn or two so I can actually get some mobility on the other one here. Don't you fall. You fell. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to back here about a couple turns. So this thing has a little bit of wiggle room. So it's looking like where the opening is in the ACM, my hole is a little bit away from that. So I don't know why this is not lining up as well as it should. All that I can do is try to catch it at an angle and haul it in. Oh, maybe. Good grief. Yeah, so that, I'm not going to say the hole is misaligned, but I'd say it's definitely off by a millimeter or two. Okay, so let's go ahead and tighten these bad boys up. So one thing's for sure, this is a big printer. Okay, I'm hoping that is teething in really good. Well, well, there's no doubt it's in there. All right, that's going to be a fun spot to get one in there too. So as I look at the instructions, I'm satisfied that I got the power supply in there. Did anyone pick up a good deal on Cyber Monday? Yes, as a matter of fact, I did. Can I be the first to answer? Printed Solid, one of my favorite vendors. He had some really good specials going on today, and IC3D filament was like $13.99 or something like that. Never used it, never heard of it. The only thing I've heard is it's a new USA vendor. So I thought, well, let's give it a go. So I did. So I bought 3 rolls. Okay, so we have that. We've done the power supply. We made sure the fan is pointed downward. We have achieved that. Okay, and now printedsolid.com. Okay, so we're going to be doing essentially finishing up the motherboard mount. And I'm looking for M3 by 20. I need 3 more. Did you pick up any good deals today? I guess that's the question to ask. Since you brokered the question. All right. So here we go. We're simply attaching more of these. And I'm going to cheat and oh, pretty solid. They're great. Yeah, I like their stuff a lot. They are in Delaware, so for me up here in Maine, if I purchase from them, the shipping is quite quick. And I've been buying stuff from them since my first Ultimaker, so I've known that if I had questions, I could always go to Matt or Dave. Yeah, they're nice people. Yeah, the Amazon filament. I haven't. I've been kind of watching to see what people think of that. You know, sometimes when Amazon jumps into something, it's either too good to be true or works out really, really well. There's a lot of small businesses that make filament, and I don't know, no offense to the Amazons of the world, but frankly, I enjoy the art of supporting a small business, and since they tend to respond to feedback a whole lot better. You know, if I get an issue with Amazon's filament, I don't think anyone's is gonna give a damn. Okay, so what I'm doing right now, I haven't moved the camera, obviously, but I'm just working on getting these nylon insert nuts here. And the beast is slowly coming together. If you're watching and you haven't introduced yourself yet, say hello. Tell us where you're from. Well, definitely easier to secure the nylon inserts here this way. All right, I got one more, and of course that has to go into this small little opening, which is not going to be a whole lot of fun. Let's see, I'm just looking at the... Don't be afraid of me. I don't think we're afraid of you. I hope people are enjoying the feed. I hope the production level is okay. I'm a bit of a noob myself here. It's funny, I was looking at some of my old videos and my newer ones going, ah, kind of cringing. Those first videos look so rough, but you gotta start somewhere. All right, so more stuff in the trash. All right, and let me get the other camera up here just so I can. And where's my clicker here? So this is all mounted up. It has to be stepper drivers at the bottom. A reflection of my LCD, where my huge light's done helping a whole bunch. And of course, this thing keeps wanting to pivot on me. But yeah, so it's in there and mounted up. Cool beans. All right, let's get that camera out of the way. And then what we'll do is, do I want to move this yet? Let's take a look. Let's see what the destructions tell us to do next. Okay, that's the backlight. See, this is, you know, I complimented him on his instructions, but there were a couple of things that drove me crazy was, you know, we're putting the legs on, you know, kind of late into the assembly. So But he appreciated that feedback. So we've obviously already done this. We already have this thing on its feet. Jack, I'm sorry you have to go. I thank you for watching my stream. I thank you for becoming a subscriber. And as always, I welcome your feedback. And I'm sorry to see you go. But this will be posted shortly. So if you're concerned we were talking about you in your while you were gone, you can watch that. Yeah, I wouldn't do that. Okay. Let's go back to the destructions here. Oh, boy, oh, boy, oh, boy. This was the part I was really dreading. I think right now calls for a nice long sip of coffee and patience. Okay. So essentially what we're dealing with here is this gives us the layout of how all the electronics are going to go. So just like the FT-5, this is the general gist of how everything's going to hook up. Whoops, I scrolled too far back. I apologize. So that's the grand overview, and we're going to refer back to this a couple times. So that's okay. So step one, we are going to work on wiring up stepper motors. Be still, my beating heart, here comes the fun. I say that with great sarcasm, in case it didn't come across. Oh, and that's that ACM tearing apart my table. So we need 1 meter of stepper wires. Doesn't this look great? The first thing I'm seeing right off the bat is I don't like the idea of all that wire running there. So we're going to have to address the way that the wires run in the near future. Okay, so first of all, plug 1 meter stepper wires into each of the Z steppers. Okay, well, I'm smart enough, I can do that. So I will turn the big camera on so you guys can see exactly what I'm pulling out of here. So there is a 1, 2, but that certainly doesn't look like a meter. That looks more like a much shorter run. So this guy, I would say, is probably what we're looking for. 2 1M. Well, then the question becomes, how long is a meter? Because is that a meter? Let me think. Oh, do you? All right, trolling for dollars before you get too loopy at the Percocet. So you tell me, is this 1 meter long? Because it looks like it's just under 3 feet. And is that one? Oh, so where's my conversion program? Hang on, because this other cable is just monstrous. So my hunch. Let me find my app here real quick. Okay, I got my answer. You are correct. 39.37 inches. I was thinking 36. I was thinking 3 feet. So these are indeed the correct ones. So now the instructions say to plug 1 meter stepper wires into each of the Z steppers. Okay, and they are keyed, and that's my coffee just totally in the way. All right, so the notches on the bottom, notches on the bottom. Ta-da! One is in. You know, half the time I tug on these things, they tie them in knots. Okay, and then same story with this guy, notch on the bottom. Sweet. And so we have cable. Well, actually, let me make sure this is facing me the way it's facing in the... Oh, that's funny. This is all that wire wrap. I thought that was the belt off the wire that had popped off. I was going to be like, oh no. Okay. So it looks like this is going to run down this channel. And, or no, I'm sorry. I may have it reversed, don't I? I do have it reversed. So this is going to go, because obviously that's the control board. And then this guy goes behind the spool holder. So I'm guessing at some point this guy obviously isn't going to reach, so these guys are going to have to connect to each other, which again is not my favorite thing in the world. Okay, so let's go ahead. You said you like instructions. Well, okay, well, you just became my moral support. Green connector. Where is... Okay, I got a lot of silicone wire. Okay. And I have a green connector right here. Plug 1 meter stepwise needed. Steppers. Trim each to end at the green connector plug location. Wow, we're throwing away a lot of cable. Looking at this guy right here. I'm just trying to see if one side matters more than the other, but it looks like there's absolutely no difference whatsoever. And so essentially what am I doing? Trimming all these and just combining the wires? Strip the ends and twist the same colors. Okay, yeah, so. And because we're dealing with connectors, I'm assuming I don't have to do anything fancy like a Western Union cut or something like that. Okay. So what I'm doing right now is I am running these wires, not really tight, but you know, just so if I want to secure them here, okay. You're in there, and then I'm going to cut all of them, say right about here, and then work on securing them. Oh boy, cutting wires. Ah, okay. They have all been cut. Those cats are having a field day up there. So the question becomes, how far should I strip? Let's see. I have a really excellent wire stripper somewhere here. What do you think, trolling? You love wiring. So let me go ahead and separate these quickly. Yeah, so what I'll do is I'll, I don't know, remove, these are pretty deep connectors. So I'll remove about 1/4 inch of jacket off each, wrap them together, and then feed them through. All right, I just gotta find my really, really nice wire slicer. Okay, we are back with an improved wire slicer. Dun dun dun. Well, you guys have gotten like really quiet. Okay. Oh, look, light. So what I've done. Someone made a suggestion. Hang on. If I am really OCD, what was that comment? If you want to be over the OCD, make sure the leads from each Z modem are the same length before you connect them. Well, that's not going to be the case because this one is traveling a much greater distance than this one. So just by following their guide, you know, there's no way I can really make them even because this guy has a much longer travel than this guy does. So. All right, not my favorite part here, but let's go with that one. I'll make you about 1/4. Oops, not quite enough. Ah. Let's try that one. Good grief. Thinnest wires known to man. Yeah, we're definitely going to have to go more than. There we go. Okay, there's one. So we're working on this motor first, and we're just going through and stripping the wire. Almost gotcha. 24 gauge seems to be the magic number. Yeah, that's what I was just doing a second ago, kind of guessing on the gauge here, because I didn't want to clip it, you know, so I was trying to go conservative, but 24 seems to be the magic. All right, so we have 1, 2, 3. Oh. Cut the paper. Okay, got those shooting all over the place. All right. And I know, I use the word all right, and I've been after myself. So, oops, get the camera a little higher. There we are. So those seem to be acceptable for their length. So that's one. Now let's do this guy and then mash them together with that connector. Well, we'll twist them together and then put them in that connector. Good grief. Boy, that one had a coating on it that just kept sliding all over the place. There we go. I'm always paranoid about breaking a wire. Okay, that, and we got you two. Okay, whoop, there it is. Whoop, rather. So I'm going to try to make this somewhat neat. That's my hope anyway. I'm going to do red wire, red wire. Alright, I don't know my wiring skills are the best or not, but I'll get you guys together and spin, spin, spin. Okay. Yellow. Yellow. Oh, sorry. It's we're an hour and a half into this, so let me go ahead and go into my top of the hour. Hello, welcome. My name is Paul. This is my channel where nerdy is cool. And tonight we're continuing the build of the FolgerTech FT-i3. If you're familiar with the CR10s and TiVo Tornadoes of the world, it's a very similar design, the i3 design. Similar build size. It's going to be 300 by 300 by 400. The 400 is on the Z-axis. And the height. The kit is a $349 printer. It's using a 3030 aluminum extrusions. And I'm missing a wire right here. And so far we're having a pretty good time with it. The aluminum composite material that this printer makes use of is interesting. Only caveat I have so far is it's very, very sharp on the edges, so a deburring tool would probably not be a terribly bad idea. Okay. The trim. We got a little bit of a snozzle extra there. Okay. And the yellows are laying right next to each other. How about that? The FT5, his previous printer was made of melamine, and melamine being pressure board, I had a terrible time with it. Just very, very warpy material. Okay, let me give you the external camera view here, which will probably be a little bit fuzzier. But you can see where, with any luck, these guys are somewhat acceptable for that connector block. And let me go ahead and get you out of the light here. Now, my question is, are these already open or not? Okay, Phillips head, so that means I need to borrow this thing. And I just have this guy. All right, let's get the gist of how this connector is going to work. Okay, that closes it. Trying to figure out which way is open and closed on this thing. Okay, that should be open. Oh, you little bugger. So my trouble is trying to understand this connector. And which way is closed when the door is, you know. So I keep on toying with this connector, wondering which way is open, which one's closed. Ah. That's where I'm stumped at the very moment, is this connector. I'm trying to. Is that open or closed? Printed solid enclosure is good. It's big. I think part of my problem is my that is too long. Okay. think I finally got the gist of this. The problem was the how long the wire lead was too. A couple of the comments I got on the printed solid enclosure was, people are turned off by the price, and I understand that, but it's also big, and the printer is big, so they, as such, required a big enclosure. So it's bigger material, and I'm sure it costs more money to make. So. But I've been happy with it. There's a few tweaks I'd like to do to it. I wish that once you put the printer inside any enclosure, getting at it is kind of tough. I have found with mine, if I want to change filament or things like that, it can be a little challenging to get my head in there because it's a tight fit. That's the way it was made. So I guess if I had a perfect one, it would be if there was a drawer mechanism, that the printer sat on a drawer, and if the bottom accommodated enough so that when you pull the drawer, the electronics box rolls as well too. I don't think it'll be disappointed. It's a well-made product. Like I said, they're good guys, and they definitely take feedback, but. Oh, I have no grief. Man, I keep on untwisting these wires somehow. This is one of those situations where I think I would have been happy with each having their own connection to the board versus messing with this connector. Screwdriver. All right. Yes, I said it again. Okay, let's give each guy a tug. Make sure they are in there. I think rather than having this dangle here, I thought I saw a 3D printed item that would keep this away from that. Now, let's look at our directions, because I'm fairly certain the other part of this is going to be connecting it to the motherboard, just like so. Correct. Okay, so here into one of the green connector, plug the longer cutoff piece into the Z port on the board and trim to reach the green connector. Okay, so they're showing, okay, so I didn't think that far ahead, but I have mine green, red, gray, yellow, so obviously I got to match those up. Okay, that's fine. Yeah, so that's what I'm looking at right here, and then this has to connect down. So Z. So what we're going to do now, with one of these that we cut, let's see which one is Z according to him. The third one in. Let's double check that. Yep, it is the third one in. Okay. Z is connected, and he has this doing a whole right angle and all that foolishness. My question is, how much do I want to trim this? I think I like the idea of the extra wire. What do you guys think? I think the extra wire I can tuck into here or whatever. I think if I make this too short, I'm harming myself. Yeah, so even if I go right to here, I still have all this extra cable, so I think it's just as well to just strip what I got right here. So here we go again, stripping wires. Correct. That's exactly what I was thinking. I was debating whether how fussy I wanted to be with this, but it's certainly, as you said, it's a whole lot easier to trim versus wishing you had to add, you know. Okay, there's gray. And put you on number 24. Okay, where's yellow and red? There you are. And so the important part now is going to be matching up what's inside that block. Now let's give these wires a spin first. If you're still there, thanks for watching. If you just tuned in, we're doing the wiring. It's not exactly the most exciting part of the 3D printer build. Can be challenging, it can be nerve-wracking. And I'm just trimming these guys. I should have my glasses, but that looks okay. So first thing that goes in your 40s, the ability to see all these small things. Okay, well at least with this longer cable I can put this guy up here. Okay, first guy up is green. First guy to run away is green. Okay. All right, next up is red. Howdy, Robert. Here we go. Okay, so we have red. Can't tell if the door is top or bottom. That's the problem I have with this thing. Well, we'll find out sure enough when we try to run power here, if they move or not. That's the big. See, that's the big question I have with these. I can't tell with come on, light. Come on. Maybe if I get it away from that great big bright light here. So what I'm struggling with is trying to figure out if these are open or closed. That's a decent picture right there. So those look closed to me. Oh, they're open? And then you close them going counterclockwise. Okay, so to open them up, you go clockwise. What you're saying. Oops. And then to close them, it's counterclockwise. I'd be curious if there's a I just want to know from these green connectors which way is open, which way is closed. I just want to make sure they're all connected, you know? That's the one thing I don't understand. Because if I got these wrong, I want to know now, obviously. I wonder what these connectors are called. That's probably, might be in the table of contents here. Might be worth a good no, he doesn't list the name of the actual part. I just want to know what they are because I can't tell. You know, I don't have my glasses down here either. I should probably grab those. I could tone them out. Which one's continuity? Hey, Ben. I'm having trouble with these connectors, Ben. I'm trying to figure out if they're open or clockwise should be closing. Okay, so counterclockwise should be opening them up. Oh, so the other question I would have then is, so which one would be continuity on this bloody thing? I think I have it selected, but I'm not sure. So clockwise should be closing. Well, that was my thought too. So let me undo all of these. Let's make sure we get this all correct, because rewiring is not much fun. So let's get it all right the first time. Okay, so are we in agreement that this is the kind of connector we're dealing with? So let's figure this out, guys. So counterclockwise should have it fully opened, and then clockwise should shut it, correct? So I'm going to go counterclockwise on all these guys. Counterclockwise, like a high pressure system. Okay. Yeah, I do need them. Hang on, I'll go get them. Okay. Here we go. My Clark Kent glasses, gentlemen. Or as we called them in the military, the birth control glasses. And I hate to do it to this side too, but... So what I'm going to do is, let's see. I'm going to do it to this top guy too here. So we're going to go counterclockwise on all these guys. Well, actually, that one seems all right, but let's just be sure. It'll take 10 minutes to do it right. Oh, okay. So let's make sure that guy's in and spin you clockwise. I may have done this one correct by accident. But hey, let's be sure. Yeah, I don't use these connectors a whole lot. I'm big into soldering things together. So this idea of twisting and crimping and connectors is a little not my favorite. Because I'm relying on this connector, I'd rather rely on a solder joint. And let's twist you guys back together because I got my arms up over my head, and I spent 2 hours at the gym doing arms today, so this hurts. Okay, we are all in agreement that I did it right. Now, JST connections would be great. I was hoping he'd have like a Y adapter, but he basically is using, I mean, he's going inexpensive. He's using these connectors to go from here to here. It works on the FT-5. It's just still not ideal. All right, gray wire is this one right here. Let's twist you up again. Hey Ben, have you started work on that printer you showed me the other night? There. Okay, gray to gray. This feels like an episode of Police Squad, you know, don't cut the blue wire. Okay, line up my yellow to yellow. Just wanted to say hello to everybody. If you're just tuning in, you're watching me struggle with the wiring of the FolgerTech FT-i3 Mega. A couple of people had mentioned that when they tuned in, they had no idea what I was working on. So I like to stop on my tracks every now and then and say, hello, here's what I'm working on. Had a couple of nice comments. People said that they enjoyed the feed. They enjoyed the conversation, and I thank you guys. Likewise. And someone had mentioned earlier when they connected that they subscribed to the channel and said, hey, you have 1,800 subscribers now. That's pretty darn cool. Thank you. I check those numbers every day or so, and I'm just amazed that the channel has grown as much as it has. There's a lot of guys out there that are begging for subscribers or having contests, and you know, contests just aren't my way. Well, Ben, do I look like I have a lot of space here? I mean, you've seen my shop. I got a BB-8 in pieces, an R2-D2 in a couple pieces. You can do it. Okay, and then someone was kind enough to tell me what setting. Let me unplug this to use on my okay, so I got my own, what should I set that for? 2K, 200? Let's see what 200 does. And, well, let's go from this to this. Okay. So I'm gonna. Boy, I don't have much room for. Oh, I'm not hearing any beeping. All right, what do I set this bad boy for to test? Do I want to ohm it out? Maybe it won't beep, or da, da, da. I want to check the connectivity. I want to verify electrically that these guys are talking to each other via the multimeter. Well, the problem is my readout is just giving me, 0.L, so I'm not getting. Well, let me just test this real quick. Is my multimeter too cheap? Yeah, it just flashes negative. Oh, hang on. Now it's starting to do stuff. Then it goes, oh well. Okay, so if I do 0.0, okay. I was expecting this thing to beep or do something here for me. So I just took a piece of wire here just for poops and grins. And I got you on the red connector. And if I touch you to the red wire, I get 0, 0, 0. Okay, you won't get a beep if you're testing for resistance. So it's flashing 0, 0, 0. Well, might be a bridge too far for me tonight. I just wanted to make sure that those connectors were, those connections were going to work. I suspect they will, but I don't like how this is just dangling here. All right. So there is Z. Yeah, I did that with the connector. Oh, well. Then, let's see. Yeah, that might be, that's like my multi-tester is El Cheapo Radio Shack. Okay. Are we ready for the next step? I suspect it's going to be the X motor or the Y. Oh, wow. Jeepers creepers, they gave me something easy. I'm not sure I'm prepared for this. Let's see, one of these is a super short lead. Alright, so we're going from, that's easy peasy lemon squeezy. And once again I have, they say this is the 0.3 meter cable. Well, I got news for you. I don't have any 0.3. Alright, and then the connector is off to the side right here. Boy, we're going to do a lot of cable management on this guy. Okay, you're under the power supply. To grandma's house you go. Good grief. Wow. El Defuncto Radio Shack. Well, then this 0.3, yeah. The problem is I don't have any cables here that are 0.3. Well, what's this one? Maybe I stand corrected. Oh, classic, rotted off. Now, everything I have is a meter. And the other thing I don't have is capped on tape, so I can't attach the wiring for the bed yet. Wish I had some. Now, as I'm under the printer here trying to read, it's interesting in this direction, it doesn't show the other one being hooked up. The other thing I did kind of want to do here is there we go. Boy, it's going to be interesting bundling up these wires. Okay. Good grief. I've got spaghetti going on. Ah! Well, that's just it. It's missing from the kit, Ben. They included it in my FT-5 kit, but in this kit, they didn't include a glass bed. They didn't include. There's a couple of things missing, so I'll shoot them an email tomorrow. But yeah, it would be nice to have everything I needed. Let's see. Okay, and then the next one. Oh, hello. What are you doing? All right, time up for the cat. Yeah, what are you doing? You're a year old now. You've been like a monster upstairs. Yeah, it sounds like rivetiness is going on up there. No, I know. You see all these wires and you're thinking, wow. All right. Well, Kitty, you get to say goodbye to everybody. Hey, everybody. Here's Theodore, and Theodore's getting the boot. See ya. He's going to go play in the box. Okay. Yeah, this was a beta kit. This is one of the early release ones. He sent it my way, and it kind of sat here for 3 months waiting for me to get to it. And now he's busy with the FT6. And yeah, we were short. Remember maybe it was a night or two ago, we were short a couple things as well too. We were short a couple of screws, and I scavenged those from the old kit as well. Let's go ahead and go to the next step here, and I bet these are going to be, yeah, these are going to be the limit switches. And let me go ahead and show you guys what we're up against here. So these aren't so bad. It's just that I am not crazy about the way they mount in. I've fought this battle before. Alright, so there's my connector, there's my switch, and M3 by 10 if I recall. Yep. These are these little guys. And then we gotta use the Nylox. Okay. So a couple of things. Let me go back to, actually I'll go to this camera here. That should help a little bit better. Oops, so I get this away from the print head. And there we go. And there we go. Zoom in, zoom out. Zoom in. So these are the limit switches. They're not the worst. And if the camera would just go, camera. Okay. Apologies for the camera being wonky. It looks like it finally tuned in. Yeah, the FT6, that's going to be an interesting printer. A couple of my friends were kind of, weren't crazy about it because, they were hoping it would be something taller as well. But I'm not sure taller was really the goal they were looking for on this one. So I'm looking at how this all goes together here real quick. So this is going to attach like so. Connector will be outside. Yep, so the goal is for this thing to slide in there. Got it. Yeah, that is going to be a big printer. I've been chatting with them off and on, and I was just like, let me know when they're available. I definitely want to join that list. I mean, I need another printer like a hole in the head, but goodness gracious, I do enjoy building them and getting them to print well. Alright, what I'm doing here is trying to get all this stuff partially attached. Okay, well, let's go with these guys. Oh, I don't want to build another R2D2. Been there, done that. It's a lot of work. Definitely a passion of love, though. I mean, God, who wouldn't? Growing up, who wouldn't want to have an R2D2? All right, so let me just make sure I'm doing this all right because I'm looking at it upside down apparently. So this is going to go here. Okay, you snap on. Looking at the instructions. So we're trying to okay, that rod is still moving, so that's on my to-do list to fix. Alright, so we're looking at the instructions again one more time to see how far this is supposed to come. Let's see. Let's zoom this in a little here. Mount the end stop mount using two M3, yep, to M3 9 locks. Clip the end stop mount to the back end of the left Y rod. Look at the Y stepper for orientation. Clamp the end stop mount to the Y rod using M3. Okay. Well, the one thing I'm noticing is that it's pretty easy for the edge of this to make contact here. So obviously you got to pull that out a little bit. All right. And I think the screw size for the other one was an 18. That's right. You didn't give me hardly any 18s. And from below, we're placing in another nylon nut. Got it. Okay, so basically we're just trying to get this to stay snug on this rail. Which I'm doing right now, and I'll have that camera turned back in just a second here. Okay, I'm not crazy about how this, and I'll switch to cameras here once again. Dun, dun, dun. So, come on, focus. There we go. So this guy's in. As you can see, the edge over here kind of comes close to this mount. And this is kind of rocking around that rod right now, but it's not going laterally. So I can tighten that up some more so it has a better grip. I think the other thing too is this bottom adapter screw here. This rod has a little bit of play still, so that definitely needs a few more twists to resolve that. But hey, that's why it's a kit. So we definitely have a few areas here we have to tweak on here. Next time I have this thing leaned over, I will definitely get in there. And then the next step is, of course, to plug in one of these connectors. Nothing to do while holding the camera. Ah, sorry. camera fall down. All right. So that is connected. We need to get this out from around that belt. The routing of cables is going to be a key role here in this build. And they don't have it listed. Well, that's just it. There's really nothing to tape it under, really. I mean, I can guide it inside the 2020 rail once I route it, but fun. And this one is going into, let's see, this is Y, so it's going to be, oh, actually they show an illustration, green, blue, red. There. So that takes care of that one. The instructions to be sure. Yep, so it's in that one right there. No, and there's a couple of things you can do for 2020 rail. I've seen a lot of stuff. Actually, I used it on my FolgerTech for that printer because that's all 2020 material too. There is stuff that you can that will fit into these 2020 rails, and it will push them in there. The other thing I can do is I can steal, because I hate this G-Tech with a passion, I can steal some of the striping, that blue striping. I could steal some of that and just stuff the wires in there and push that in there. So maybe the G-Tech's useful after all for spare parts. A putting green clamp. I'm just catching up on the chat here. Okay, so this one is, I really want that to, I don't like the wiggle you have. There you go. But I think a good part of that is due to me screwing this up. So let me move this. Let me move this. I really can't put you on your side anymore because I got connectors all over the place, but let me see what I can do temporarily here. So what I'm doing is, I can't remember what this fitting is called, SFUU, whatever, but I have just reefed on that thing, and that's not moving at all. So, hooray, a little bit of success. Okay. The other thing, I found a 3D print that will fit this, and then it has attachments to 2020 pieces. So there's a bunch of ways that we can, how do I put this? We can definitely pretty up this printer a whole bunch of ways. You know, Ben's mentioned a few tips. You all mentioned a few things last night that got my brain thinking, and others have too. So we're not up the creek, so to speak. Right now, I'm trying to go exactly by the plans, because the first thing I would definitely change out is, oh man, I got a bad feeling about these things, to be honest with you, right here. I would totally put them on the bottom and put them vertical, but I want to see what happens. I think, was it Ben that mentioned this the other night? I think these things are going to turn into slinkies as well. So, but we'll see. And then, of course, this hot end. I totally want to make this a Titan Aero or an E3D with a Bowden system, because this thing does move really nice, but that's just a massive amount of, between the stepper and this giant print head and heat sink. I think an Aero would do a really good job. So where am I at in my video? Oh, wow, I said I was going to stop at 2 hours, and here I am. This printer is 300 by 300 by 400. Okay, let's see what we got for next steps. More wiring. Okay. Wow. Secure cable ties. Well, I got a big mess of wiring already here. Well, let's read this first before I get too carried away here. So we get a bunch of the screws. We have an end stop. We got a wire cover. Okay. I don't know if I got one of those or not, but whatever. So assemble the end stop and mount as we did in the last step and attach to the right end of the lower X rod. With the switch facing to the left. Okay. I'm looking at this and it's not jumping out at me. Let me zoom this in again. I see this. So maybe I'm not looking at the printer from behind. I'm sorry, this is looking at the printer from the front. Got it. And well, hang on, I have found with these printer kits that if you look at it from the same angle they are, life is way easier. So let's flip this guy around. Okay, yep, I see my X motor, which we have not wired in yet, but I see it. So this is facing me. And where's the pieces I'm going to need for that? So essentially that is going to sit. Now which direction? Moving cameras around so you guys can be part of the action here. So that means, okay, let's get the external camera up. So well, there you can see my CR10. Okay, so this is all going to go over here. I think it might be okay, but might need bigger Z motor connections. I'm not sure I understand the question. Okay, so let's think about this. So the connector is going to be here. Which means this thing is going to sit, yeah, because it's going to have to sit out here, and it's going to make contact. Yeah. All right, so you're going to bolt in, you're going to attach here, and you're going to make contact with the side of the stepper motor. I gotcha. Got it, got it, got it. Think our way through this one. So that guy's going to go here. This guy's going to sit here. Okay. Oh, the Z-axis has two motors on the very top. I'm sorry. There are two Z motors, and we just wired them up. I don't know if it's series or parallel, but they're both connected to a connector. All right, let's start the other one. So yeah, it's going to be interesting. But the big thing that I'm curious about, you all, is the fact that, look up there, this whole thing is hanging and being supported by a coupler. So if that coupler goes wonky, down goes your Z. That's why one of my thoughts is I really, really, really want to get a much lighter printhead on there so it doesn't strain it. Okay, 1. Seven viewers. This is fantastic. So let me give my usual little segue saying, hello, welcome. My name is Paul. This is where nerdy is cool. This is my channel. Thank you guys for tuning in. We're building a FolgerTech. Son of a... I mean, that fit perfect. But boy, that had a little bite to it. This is a FolgerTech FT-i3 Mega. Essentially, this is going to be similar to a CR10 TiVo Tornado in volume. Kit costs $349. What's interesting is it has the Z motor up high versus what you're probably used to. Most of them are on the bottom. So I'm very curious to see how this is going to work out. It's going to be no fun threading this thing in here. At least this 3D printed part, it's set so that it's the shape of the nut. So once you start threading, it gets caught in that 3D printed piece, and it should never bother me again. Ha ha ha, right? The question is, why is that not capturing in there yet? There we go. Now you're biting. Famous last words. Ben, I enjoy you. I got a friend of my father's who messaged me out of the blue. Actually, I'm named after him. His name is Paul. My dad's best friend growing up. He lives in Florida. And he's like, why don't you come on down for a visit? It's like, ask me twice, I dare you. Okay, so now comes the fun. Somehow, this, I'm sorry, I'm on the wrong camera. So we have the, this is over here. Somehow we have to get this cable all the way from here to the board. And it's on the far side. Or wait, I'm thinking too hard. Remember, I turned the printer around. Oh, by the way, that's my oil furnace that just kicked on. So no, so this is just going to go over here. But it's going to suck to manage the wiring on this one. Yeah, so the big joy of this one becomes, how do we get this out of the way? How did they get it out of the way? Oh, they have it going to the braided hose up and over the top, or up and over something. But there's no way. That cord will never fit. Lots of Mainers in Florida. Yeah, they're called snowbirds. Okay, so let me show you what I'm trying to wrap my mind around right now. So this thing shows a picture of the wire and the stepper wire, which we'll do shortly here. It shows it going into a wiring loom and then going up over the top. Now, over the top of what? Because this cable right here, if they're assuming the top of the printer, this cable is way too short. Yeah. So the only thing I can think of is this is just going to go dangle off the side here. That makes sense to you guys? Matter of fact, I'm going to look at Folger's website and look at how the hell they did it. Yeah, they got it wrapped all over the rod. Yeah, it's not the most elegant printer. Yeah, and that's, yeah, I'm glad, Robert, you did the same thing I did. I looked at the exact same thing, and actually, I can probably dun dun dun. Give me a second here. We'll see if the web browser will load here for me. What do I think of it? It sounds impressive with the volume. I'm curious to see how he's doing the dual extrusion. I wonder if he's doing like a Y adapter of one nozzle and with two tubes. I'm very curious to see what he's up to. All right, so I got the page open, and I'll share my screen here in just a second here. Okay, so we're looking at their website, and let's see if we can't get a bigger picture here. Yeah, looks like it's all... I wish I could blow that picture up a little bit bigger. All right, this is probably about the best I'm going to get. Sure. Yeah, so it's basically making a big... This is... Yeah, so this is basically a big old pile of wire wrap all over this printer. It can definitely stand some improvement in that direction, but that's interesting. Very interesting. All right, enough of Google. So, what do we do? What do we do? What do we do? Oh, did I skip a picture you wanted to look at? I'm looking on my other computer too here. There's a picture that shows a control board, and it shows basically it's just going over. It sure looks like it has a lot more cable than I do, though. My concern is I don't want to run that wire over the top so here's what I'm thinking. Let me go to this camera here. I'm thinking that this is going to have to go over the top of the motor and then off to the side. I really don't see much of a way really around that, do you? And then this, you know, tuck it in this wire wrap somehow. Now, what I'm curious about is the graphic. Through some wire cover long enough to reach halfway up to 3030. Halfway up to 3030. I'm just looking at what I was included with. I mean, I have this big old loom of cable or the weave, but I don't think the cables will fit in there. That's interesting. Because I'm looking at, you know, this stuff, but I don't think it's anywhere near stretchy enough to. I mean, maybe. I mean, I'm kind of destroying it, putting my fingertip in there, so I can't imagine. But I could be wrong. All right, so how long a run do we need? I'm going to go with about this much. And just see what the dickens happens. Oops. Boy, trying to. I don't know if I'm destroying more loom than I'm actually. Yeah. See, what I'm trying to do is I've been trying to, you know, compress this stuff and try to shove that guy in some more. But in honesty, if I'm going to do this, I should be pushing that stepper motor cable at the same time. Yeah, I've kind of ruined a whole bunch of this. Let's try and do that. Stepper motor. All right, guys, let's do this. The joys of trying to get these looms to play nice. Come on now. Part of me was thinking like in plumbing, you know, but let's see. I don't think this is going to work, but I have a studio audience to impress, so let's see. And the cats are just going crazy up there. Come on. If I can just push this through to the very end, I can just tug it. Almost. Maybe. Huh, damn connectors. If it wasn't for the edges of those connectors grabbing the mesh. You come down here to hide from your crazy brother? Oh, it feels like a mistake. Just got a chance to read the chat buffer here real quick. So, all right, so we have what a crap storm this is. All right, well, first, let's grab a small wire tie. See if I can't salvage this end. All right, and then with any luck, okay, I'm giving this thing a little bit of a haircut. And then, wow, what a mess. All right, guys, so what I've done, let me, got this cable. I got these guys sticking out the other end anyway. So, I don't know if the wire tie was the best idea or not, but okay. I'm doing more trimming of this loom. All right, so got. Then let me go back to the main camera. So here's what I got. I got the loom. This will go over here anyway. Boy, I got a real mess going on here. So what do you think? Wow. Okay. So we got this loom somewhat sorted out. And at least now, I'm sure we can clean this up more. All right. So this is X. And I think if I look at this, so it's not the most elegant thing. It's kind of dangling off to the side here, but at least it's secured. And I'll give you a better shot of this here real quick. And I'm sorry I got the cables, but they're so there it is. I'm sure it can be prettier and tighter, but at least it will go up and down with the printer. There we go. So what do you think? It's turning into quite the wiring mess. Night, Ben. Nice having you. And I'm just trying to see if there's anything else we missed here. So we did the end stop. Plug them into the ports. And that part is all good. So what is our next step? Okay, next step would be okay, so the mount is reversed. So we're just doing the same thing for Z. All right. So we have another one of these guys. Now they're saying that the mount is reversed. So the mount is going to go this way. Got another one of these guys. Okay, so in order for this thing, let's go to the instructions real quick. So they're saying this is going to go on It's funny how they pointed out mount reversed. From how we did it before. Okay. Okay, because before the nut's been on the, okay, I see what they're pointing out. So what's going on is before this has always been on the other side. So okay, so he's making that deference. Can I connect to a motor mount? Well, the connector is, fortunately, it's in there pretty loose, so I'm not too worried about it. If anything, you know, the ones that are on the CR10 uh, generate a whole bunch more strain. I'm always concerned about those cables, how they're loomed up. The other thing I could probably do is I could probably bungee it, which might not be a bad idea either. And tell me I have enough hardware to do this. I do. Okay, so let's go back to this camera, and we're going to get this fellow put together. Okay, that one's on there a little bit. And let's see. Just making sure everything's in line. Yep. Very good. One's threading in nice. All right, tool time. So the only thing I see that's going to be a challenge for this is, yeah, it's going to be getting at it to tighten that up. So you are going to go on just like so. So we need to, come on. Okay. Well. The problem with this I'll tell you right here is you can't access the screw. This is blocking you. Yeah. I mean, it can just sit here and be free, but if you're going to screw it in or secure it, you can't because that piece right here is blocking it. The other thought I had was putting it on the other side, but then you don't have the wire will not reach. So this is going to have to stay just the way it is via friction. It's kind of awkward. You want to do R&D at a Chinese factory? You would slow down their production numbers. No, I hear you. You're preaching to the choir on that. I don't understand why we as a general public are so eager to throw out money at these cheap printers. We tell the other manufacturers their prices are too much, so we're going to buy the cheap Chinese ones. And then we spend twice as much repairing all their poor QC and making the printer usable. I mean, fortunately, the prices have come down. For example, say TiVo Tornado, you know, a $400 printer. Okay, well, if you want to get a reliable power supply, that's, well, what, 60, 75 bucks right there. If you're going to get rid of the hot end, you're looking at about 100 bucks, E3D or Spranker Swiss. The extruder, you're talking about a new bed. Maybe you don't like the V-slot or some other upgrades to the bed. So, you know, you're already talking close to 300 bucks, you know, just to make the thing, you know, a usable printer. Of course, when you add that all up, you know, that's, well, that's just, I don't know, That's what, $600-700. That's still going to be cheaper than a Lulzbot, an Ultimaker 2 Plus, or any of those guys, you know, and they probably have a bigger print volume. So that's kind of the conundrum you're at. So I don't know. I mean, you can drive to work on a $500 or $1,000 car, or you can buy one that's, you know, $10,000, or if you want to go all out, you can buy yourself a $50,000 Audi, and it'll get you back and forth to work the same way. It's just a whole different level of ride. If I could afford it, I'd have a few more Ultimakers. I've been really, really pleased with them. But you pay for that luxury. You know, an Ultimaker 2 is about $2,400. I got mine for $1,200, plus I upgraded it, so $1,700. And everything in that thing is top notch. It just, the beautiful thing is, I had for 6 weeks, I had a bunch of Ultimaker 3s here. I had them on loan. They were going to be at a Comic-Con with me where I was just playing 3D printing. And the Ultimaker 3s are beautiful printers. They're very expensive, but boy, it was so nice to be able to unbox that printer, set it up, put the SD card in, print, and off you go. It auto levels, it does everything. Yep, my CR10's been good. Yep, my first CR10 had some issues when it came out of the box, but it was pretty easy to get going. The same thing with my CR10S. I paid a bit more money for that because it came from printed solid. They went through, checked everything, and off we went. So, oh yeah, sure. I mean, I'll give them kudos that, you know, they are a good printer. It's just that, frankly, you know, if you have problems with your Creality CR10, you can't go to Creality to get any kind of support. You're basically self-hosted, self-supported, I guess, either through Facebook or what have you, or the community. You know, whereas if you have a Lulzbot or an Ultimaker or any of those other brand machines, if you run into issues, you can contact the manufacturer. If something needs to be replaced with the board or things like, you know, it's got a warranty. So there's a lot to be said for some of these things. All right. Wow, this wiring is a bloody mess, and I'm not a fan of that. I want things to look clean, so what a spider web. Geez, and I haven't even done any of the work with the electronics yet. Wow. Yeah, true support isn't there, and that's the thing, and that's, you know, I got some heat for giving G-Tech a hard time because my printer arrived largely unusable. And a lot of people gave me a hard time about it. Well, Paul, what do you expect? $200 printer, blah, blah, blah. You just got a bad one. Stop your bitching. And I'm like, well, no. I mean, yeah, I have a lot of experience with 3D printing. I've been doing this for 5 years. But the market for these $200 printers is people that can finally afford a 3D printer. And what do they get for their money? Well, it's luck of the draw, you know. They may get one, they may put it together, and it may work just fine, and they may never need support. Or they may get a lemon like I did, and nothing but troubles from the get-go. When you contact support, support's going to say, sorry, you got to talk to a salesperson. Salesperson's going to say, nope, sorry, you got to talk to the person that you were working with. And then the third person is going to say, you know what, I'll get back to you, and then you don't hear from them for a week and a half. So that's their support. As a matter of fact, on a Saturday, I received some parts from G-Tech. I received parts that don't go to an A10. So that's my support so far. And of course, to the fanboys, if you dare complain about a manufacturer that makes a $200 printer that works perfect for them, they're going to dive all over you. They could care less. No, it's kind of crazy. Asking for help from non-American. Yeah, it's just it. So like I said, my background is in customer support, and when something like this happens to me and I get the response I get, I'm very aggressive at looking out for my interests and knowing what my rights are, you know, or what I think my rights should be. But there's a lot of people that are just getting into 3D printing. This is their opportunity to get in, and if this is going to be their first experience, it's not good for the industry. Okay, so we got this guy plugged in. I'm probably at a point here where I'm probably going to end for the night, but let me just look. I just want to see what's next, because I suspect all the fun is ahead of us. Yeah, so our next steps are going to be working on routing. Oh, and they're using connectors. More connectors. Gosh, just run a straight wire. Run a loom. But they can't. They use all short wires on this thing. Yeah, I think that's going to be a great spot to pick up from tomorrow. Okay, well, let me at least spin this around so everyone can see what kind of fine progress we've made today. We kind of have a crap ton of wiring here. I can't really go too far over this way or that way. So, spool holder is connected. We have the limit switches on Y, on X, and now on Z. I'm a little concerned about how this thing is going to connect the things, but we'll have to see. This red wire is this one is the 12 volt for the fan. Oh, actually, this is probably it's a 24 volt system, so I'm willing to bet it's a 24 volt cooling fan. Then you have your white wires right here. Oh, you're teasing me with all those wiring questions. Thermistor, and then the heater. And it looks like everything's going to wind up going through a connector block. Not my favorite thing again, but so be it. To get all that wired up. And now I'm just trying to, because my pets like to get into things, I'm just going to bundle up all the wires. Yeah. So here I am stuck in the middle. Okay. And let me see if I missed anything in the buffer. No. All right. So we got a lot done tonight. I knew the wiring was going to be slow moving, but I think we did a pretty good job with it. I was a little concerned about doing the whole coupling thing here, and I'm glad you guys were available to help out, especially with this connector bit here. It just didn't make sense to me which way it was open and closed. It just seemed like it worked both ways. So just want to give a shout out to you guys. Thanks for tuning in and watching me. If you're not a subscriber to my channel, please become one. Spread the word. Tell your friends about me. I would love to have more subscribers. I'd love to have more viewers. I like doing the live streams. I'm surprised at how many people are tuning in and chiming in. I'm getting a lot of feedback and email from people saying, I really liked it. You did a good job. So thank you. I appreciate the praise. I actually haven't heard any complaints, so don't be that guy. But like I said, I'm just saying, so far everything has been very, very positive. I'll be posting some pictures of the progress. I'll be posting those on my Facebook page, where Nerdy is Cool, and also on Instagram, where Nerdy is Cool as well. So I'm going to wrap this up for tonight. I think we're going to jump back into this tomorrow. It looks like we're going to be having a snow day in Maine tomorrow. We're getting a lot of snow. I don't know if my work is going to close or not. If they do close, I will be here working on this, and I will kick on the camera so that while you guys are at work slaving away, you can sneak away and tune in and watch what's going on. So thanks for watching. I'm going to kill this for tonight. I thank you guys, and remember, this is where Nerdy is Cool. Have a great night.